Oh shit, ladies and gentlemen, how you doing out there? This is Intergalactic Interviews, and this is episode 143. How you doing, folks? Did you have a good week? I had a tremendous weekend. More on that in one moment. Right now, sitting across from my good friend and very talented man with many slashes to his job titles, of which include incredible, talented tattoo artist, as Nomi Chi taught us in previous episodes. Tattooers. Also, former pro skateboarder, just a talented artist in general, and a good guy, good human.
Thank you.
Really like him, ladies and gentlemen, Stacy Gabriel. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
How's that for an intro? Was that
That was great.
enough accolades poured upon you in one breath?
You forgot a couple of them. Piano player.
Oh, that's right.
Painter.
I felt threatened by your piano playing skills, and so I didn't bring it up. I was like, no, I'm not gonna give him that. I'm not gonna. No, you're very talented though. I was very shocked to see that video you put up. I was like, dude, look at the chord transitions on this guy. Okay, what the fuck?
Although you probably know the actual chords, whereas I just learn what they look like. And if you ask me to play them, I don't know what I'm doing.
I think your dynamic was great. I think you had great soul. What can I say? I don't know much about anything. I had a great weekend, dude. It was pretty rad. On Friday, I was asked to host a rap battle of certain proportions, not a real not a KOTD, King of the Dot, grind time, URL battle, not like that. It was way more like WWE, WWF. Like it was all very predetermined. A lot of it, yeah. Nice. But so it was like 5 matchups culminating in this big main event, and they wanted me to do it because I do like MMA style announcing.
So it was staged.
Very staged.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was also on a stage.
On a stage. And so when I signed up to do it, I was like, sure, yeah, that's off and on, no problem. But really, it was like, I didn't realize it until I got to the venue, but I'm like, it was like 5 hours of straight up performance, basically. So I was up there and I was like, oh, let's get ready to rumble. Like fucking hard. And like rolling R's. One guy, this great artist in the city, his name's Rael. I was like everyone had like alliteration I put on their name. I'm like the radiant, the ravishing Rael. Like fucking just, anyway, hard doing these performances. And then I got to DJ for the 2 finalists, Jacob Evolved and Mizzy, of course, Mizzy. Yeah. And it was like just incredible. Just all the way through. I've never experienced crowd love like that at the end. It was sustained for like a few minutes. Well, I was just like, every time you felt like it was gonna die off, it kept going, and I don't know, it felt so good. It felt so good to be a part of that. It's a great opportunity. Mizzy did a great job of that show. Jacob did a great job of that show. Everyone involved did such a great job. It was really rad, man.
I got the invite, but I couldn't make it.
You had some stuff going on, and I thought about not asking you about it, but you said off air it was okay.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Yeah, totally.
You had an unexpected passing away in your circle of friends this past week.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean,
share a bit about that?
Yeah, it happened basically 4 days ago, and as soon as it happened, he's First Nations, so they do things a little bit differently. They had everything set up immediately. So right as it happened, I basically had to dip out. So I had to leave, and I actually forgot. Like, I've just been so brain dead that I forgot that this was happening. Yeah. So I'm glad that you sent me a message asking me if we were going to do it today, so that I had time to plan out my ride back and make sure I was going to be here for it.
I knew you'd keep your appointments, but
yeah.
at the same time, I knew I should just offer you the courtesy of the out as well too. I'm like, hey man, it's like, yeah. Like,
But I've been there for 4 days, so.
Right.
So I felt like at that point too, like I needed to get back for other things as well. So
where is there?
Kamloops, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I had to go to Kamloops.
That's where you're from, right?
That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
I was born there.
Really? That's
Not
awesome.
that it matters to say.
Were you raised there?
No, I lived there for a couple years only, and then yeah.
It's a good place. I don't know. It's a desert.
Yeah, like it's pretty rad. I've rolled through there a few times. Haven't really spent a lot of time there, but it's nice.
Mexican food and an amazing skate park. That's pretty much when I think of Kamloops.
Nice.
I go there to eat. There's a good Mexican restaurant there that we all love.
Nice.
So you were this friend of yours.
Yes.
You guys were really close.
Yeah, we were really close. Basically, and actually, this ties into everything that we're going to be talking about because, in order for me to, I guess, to have even pursued skating and it to even transition into tattooing. His parents let me live at their house on and off as I was coming back and forth from Vancouver to Kamloops, because my mom moved to Williams Lake. So I didn't have a home base in Kamloops anymore, and I relied on a lot of friends to like let me stay at their place. And I kind of felt like a bum at times, but I had something in mind. Like I had something I was working towards.
Of course.
And by them letting me stay there for 3 months at a time, 2 months, you know, just sometimes I go there and stay for a month, but I stayed with him and his family and spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
But
you come close to a family, you almost become part of the family,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. And that's the thing that was really a big trip actually going back, is that, I mean, in the past, you know, maybe 5 years, I haven't gone back that much, and I haven't seen his family that much, but it's always the same. Like, it's not like, it doesn't feel like I haven't been there. But when you go to something like this, you think that you are maybe a little bit more disconnected, you know? You go there and you think, okay, I'm going to let the family do their thing, and I'm going to kind of be on the back burner.
Right.
Whereas as soon as I arrived, immediately we got off the highway and went straight to his house, and the hearse showed up because they do it at their house.
So the whole ceremony takes place at
the
their
house.
home. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So as soon as we got there, immediately they put a lot of attention over to me. So it was really intense, because I thought I was going to kind of be on the sidelines, but his sister actually walked through everybody there, a lot of First Nations who I would assume that it would be closer family to them.
Right.
But she came and hugged me before anybody.
Wow.
And then his dad waved me over, and it was super overwhelming, because I didn't think that my impact was that strong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that I'm good friends with him. I spent a lot of time with him, but you always kind of think that maybe you're a little bit more on the back burner. So it was super intense.
Yeah. When you haven't been exposed to the dynamic you're used to, because again, in that dynamic, your friend obviously would come first before all that. So you're almost, you know, involved in like stepping into that energy. You're taking, you know, part of their attention that they, you know, most likely give to your friend. They were like pushing it towards you, right? So that's a very intense feeling. How did you feel you handled it?
I mean, honestly, I feel like I handled it like everybody else there. That's the one thing about their culture that really amazed me, is that I've gone to funerals before. This one obviously a little bit heavier, or, you know, it was heavier than other funerals that I have been to. Yeah. But I don't know, the way that they do things is extremely inviting, and you don't feel, not like you feel ashamed when you're at another funeral, but the way that they do it is so hands-on and it's so raw that, you know, you can't help but just cry with the family. Like, and that's the thing, is everybody there is emotional and they're showing it, and I've never seen that before, and it was really cool.
Huge flood of emotion. That's
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
But I felt like I did well. I don't know. I felt like I kept it together. You know what I mean? Like I had my moments, but I feel like they didn't want people to be overly emotional at times, you know, because everyone needs to kind of have some light to it, you know, not just all dark.
Supposed to be banding together to support the family, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So eventually things shore up a little bit.
Exactly.
But yeah, in the moments though, especially, you know, I don't do really well at funerals personally, you know, traditional or otherwise. I've only experienced a First Nations type of wake maybe once, and honestly, I was there actually. I knew the person, but they were an acquaintance to me, and I was actually there representing someone else who was actually away on tour at the time. And I asked them, I said, do you think it would be okay if I went and represented for you at this? And you know, and they were like, they were grateful for me for that, but I was actually there just trying to do the right thing. And so I actually relate a little bit to what you're saying, where it's like I went in there and felt like, okay, I'm going to really play the sidelines on this and just see how it goes. And people were very inviting and just super receptive, very warm, and doing like smudge ceremonies and just everyone taking part. And it was heavy.
Seriously, everyone taking part 100%.
Yeah. How long were you guys friends then?
We honestly, like, we skated together. I feel like we met when we were like 14 or something.
Right.
Like it was when I was like maybe in grade 8 or something. So
okay,
around that time. But although he had been around and he was probably skating, but I feel like he didn't venture away from the res until a little bit later, because he lived on the reserve right across the water from me, which I actually didn't notice until today. So this morning I was driving around, just kind of killing some time before I got my ride back here. I was borrowing my friend's car, and I looked across the water, and I was like, his house is almost directly across the river from where I grew up. And he grew up in his house. I grew up in my house. So it was kind of crazy to think that
you never saw that ever.
That we were both probably skating on our streets, like
right, yeah.
like across the river, but we didn't meet until we were 14 or so, or 15.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's cool. It was kind of cool to think. I was like, wow, we did this like across the water. You were over there,
right, the
whole time.
So it's like kind of cutting your teeth together in the same way. So that gives way to another question then. Okay. The manner of taking up skateboarding.
Yeah.
I know you gave a range there, but is that about the time you started getting into it?
No. I mean
earlier than that.
Earlier than that for sure. I probably started in grade 5 or 6, but my buddy, his name's Riche. He's my friend that I went to elementary school with. We lived pretty close to each other. The two of us would just be rollerblading, BMXing, skateboarding, doing all that stuff. And his sister was a skateboarder. She had a mohawk, had a shaved head at times.
Nice. Wow.
But his sister was the one that kind of made us go more that direction because she was skateboarding and it was like cooler. I don't know. And like we would be, you know what I mean? Like she was, because she's older and she was cool. And so it was like, oh, his sister skates. Like we got to skate, you know?
I know that, especially when you're trying to like prove yourself at that age, right?
Yeah.
Wow, so that's a pretty young age.
Yeah, I mean, you know what though? It wasn't just him either. Like my neighbor had a skateboard, and my neighbor 3 houses down from him had a skateboard. So it was on my block. It was all over the place. So it was kind of inevitable that I was like gonna kind of gravitate towards that.
Who was a skater you liked at the time? Like who you were like, oh man, that they're doing something I want to do. Who
just all the locals actually. I wouldn't say that there was one person, but I mean once I got into it and we started going to the actual skate park and cruising around, just everyone at the skate shop, you know, you just see the guys at the skate shop and like you just kind of look up to all of them. You're like, oh, like who's that guy? And he's good at. You go to the park and you're that shy kid that sits on the sidelines and watches. So I don't, not one person, but just everyone.
Skating's cool in a community sense that there is. I feel, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, you know way more. But I've always felt like the skating community has a great way of fostering its own heroes and like starting at a really local level. So like to hear you say that like it was all like mostly local guys, that's cool because like I think if you're into like hockey, you're not like idolizing the guy in the beer leagues or something like that.
Yeah,
you're Wayne Gretzky and
that
guy,
totally.
Like Sidney Crosby and shit, right?
I feel like I grew up at the right time where it wasn't oversaturated because I mean we grew up with VHS. So when a new video came out,
skate videos,
so you collected skate videos when they came out. It was a big deal when they came out. But I didn't even watch I watched X Games before, but I didn't have videos yet because I wasn't going to the shop and I didn't have money to buy a skate video. I came from fairly low income, you know, so I wasn't spending my money on that. Like even my boards were pretty much Walmart boards for the first like 3 or 4 boards up until I finally got one that was like considered a real skateboard.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, my mom's boyfriend actually bought me a board, and when he brought it home, it was a step up from my like Walmart sparkly graphic board. But
what was on it? Like a dragon?
Honestly, I feel like it was just like a design, like not like a picture, like it was more like a logo.
Oh,
but when he brought it back,
it said like Venture on it or something.
It was from Sport Check.
Nice.
So it kind of seemed like, hey, Sport Check's maybe a step up from Walmart.
Yeah, definitely.
But their trucks were made out of a mold, and the way that the mold was, right where you would grind on the truck, was basically a razor blade. Like it was a piece. It was a piece of metal that stuck up.
Oh, so that didn't get filed down. Essentially.
No. Like it was like they were just made in a mold, maybe in China or something, and they didn't realize that that's where you grind. So I had trucks for a while that like I couldn't grind. Like I just tried to learn how to ollie and flip my board around.
In a way, that probably served you in some respect, right? Because then you were,
or it was just way harder. You had to force it.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like a type of accessory that you could develop.
You mean
for
like
kids.
the brake on a rollerblade?
Yeah, like you eventually
with the brakes.
Yeah, like hear me out.
I always had brakes
You
on mine.
eventually like add and take away this like razor kind of attachment to the trucks, so that eventually, so when you don't want your kids, like maybe you want your kid to learn to skate, but you don't want them to start like Smith grinding.
Totally.
Dude,
So because when you ollie onto a curb, if you go slow, you would stall because it's not grinding.
Right.
So then you take off your training wheels and then you learn how to slowly
Smart.
grind.
Maybe
But-
that's what they had planned for you in China.
But you know what's funny about that is that when I had those trucks, and this is like some history in skateboarding here, they don't make this anymore. But my friend Riche, through his sister, he always had nice setups because she had the right stuff. Like she always had pro setups.
She sounds
So
badass, by the way.
She was badass. So she had these trucks that are called Z rollers, and Z rollers are actually it's actually kind of like a rolling pin essentially. So when you grind, you actually roll. And these are old. Like any skate heads that might see this, they know what they are. But he had those. So I had the ones that don't grind at all, and he has the ones that roll. So you can hop on a piece of wood and you can grind it. So
Is it actually like another wheel or another thing?
it's
on
like
there?
part of the axle, right where you would grind. They had like it looked like a little metal kind of like rolling pin or something,
Oh, okay.
and it rolled in there. I don't know. It was really really strange.
That's crazy.
Like a fifth and sixth wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a cylindrical
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
exactly.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be stock.
That's
Does it
what I
make it
know.
easier?
I'm like, wait a minute, they don't make that anymore? That sounds like how it's supposed to be done. That's
Yeah.
like, that's pretty cool. I have to tell you, I've never been able to skate, but I've always been a huge fan. I've always been like just a pure fan. Like,
Have you hurt your tailbone before attempting to skate?
no. I should have. Maybe I should have. That's
I
crazy.
know many people that just like
Slip out. Hurt
they're
their
just like,
tailbone,
hey,
they're done.
I can try it, and then tailbone injury.
That's crazy. Hey, you had a crazy day today, actually. Side note.
No,
Come on. I think
it's not really related. What is this? This transition is terrible.
No, I think I just want to mention it real quick, just because I'm excited for you, and I think Uncle Gabe would fucking love it too if we talked about it.
Well,
real
depends. So you said you liked video games, but I don't know how deep that goes. Like,
Not so deep.
okay,
quick. now,
I mean,
now I'm instantly regretting this.
Yeah,
no.
exactly. I know.
You know what? It goes deep. I would say more deep, as in like back in the day. But
Sure,
I do still play video games, but I only play 3 games. Like I'll play Skate, Call of Duty, and I don't know, maybe something else. you
Yeah,
know?
okay,
sure.
yeah.
But like, if
Are you familiar with Age of Empires?
I am not.
That's
Oh.
not good. That's
All right,
not good.
let's transition.
No, abort.
pulling out, pulling out. C-Mart, Chris Martin, are excellent. Fucking, I don't even know what your actual title is on this show.
Person
Human
Human.
guy. C-Mart,
Button pusher.
friend of the pod.
Sure. I do press buttons.
Yeah, he works for Relic, and Relic is a pretty famous video game company, and especially in the PC world. But today they announced, after what is that, a 12-year gap between games.
No. Dawn of War 3 came out pretty recently.
No, sorry, not their own releases, but for the sequel to this.
Oh yeah, I mean the franchise Age
Anyway,
of Empires.
Yeah, they announced the new Age of Empires. It was Age of Empires 4, so the internet just went fucking crazy. And this guy got a bunch of swag, so he's wearing.
Yeah.
He's wearing his,
So how did you get the swag?
Well, they just gave it to us like today. So
the launch? Yeah.
Well, like it was announced on the internet or whatever.
Right.
And then they.
You've worked there a long time, dude. How long?
Oh, yeah.
how
I
long
think
you
that's
worked there?
the part that I missed. I'm sorry. You
yeah.
work there.
Yeah. Sorry, I work on video games.
Okay, and at Relic.
Relic. Yeah.
Relic.
Okay.
Anyway,
there
and
we
we've
go.
been working on this game for.
What does
a
the
little
back
bit.
say on your shirt? Can you show this?
Well, here, let me just see if I can see. I should probably take this off.
This is great audio, by the way, for
Yeah.
the podcast. As you describe it, this Age of Empires 4 in like font 72.
And it looks like a Star Wars logo or
It
something.
does. It's a different. Yeah. What's handy is that we've updated the font, because this
Yeah.
is like, I think the font is actually called Castellar, Anyway, this is some nerdy bullshit.
It's
but
crazy
like,
shit though. Like the people that are
We've got a new
anticipating this game are fucking going crazy. It's
Yeah,
going to be
it's a
awesome.
big,
yeah.
It was number one trending on
It was.
Reddit or
Yeah.
for a minute.
It was. It's worth mentioning. That's
Actually, a minute.
that's
Not
pretty badass.
like the usual term.
I was really hoping that you guys were going to tell me that Skate 4 was going to be.
Oh,
made.
shit.
That's what I thought. That's where I thought this was
To be
going
honest,
because that's been in the making for a bit. And
Skate 3 has some of the best video game like physics bugs
Yeah.
in the history. Like,
Can you throw on the video?
well, yeah, we can
there's
look it up in a bit,
compilations of
but
that?
yeah, there's like so many. Like Skate 3 is
I would
just,
love
like,
to.
it's so funny.
I'd love to watch that with Stace, man. I'd love to.
So
see
you
it.
Wait,
so,
so wait, what
do
is
you
this?
like no? Do you like so you like Skate? Do you like Tony Hawk or Skate more? Like when did you transition or what?
I only liked Tony Hawk at the time because it was the only thing
Okay.
available.
Yeah,
but now I despise it.
It's
Skate's
so,
a little more like
so unrealistic.
Well, yeah, and it's just you don't you can land close to a ledge and then grind the
Yeah.
whole thing. But Skate actually, the reason why I like playing it so much is because you feel the physics of it. You feel it. So
Yeah.
like when you do a certain trick or whatever, you know, you actually can like sense that feeling of what it's like because you've done it before. So when I'm grinding a rail and doing a certain trick, let's say like a front feeb on a rail,
Yeah.
I'm like, you're holding it for so long and he dips the nose down and you kind of you like feel that in your you feel it. I don't know.
Okay, because like it's so crazy that you have that angle to approach it because I'm so not aware of like how that feels. Like I can only literally imagine. I have no. But the fact that you've like, what's it like to play a game and be like, wow, that I do these things. Like I
Exactly.
Can, you know,
That's what I mean. That's why that game is so awesome and so fun.
that's so badass. Do you have this queued up, brother?
sort of.
We're gonna watch some Skate
there's just some
physics glitches or something like that. I'm sure this is gonna be fantastic and it's gonna be definitely worth the wait. What? Someone
just does an ollie in the background.
for the first time in the history of this show, someone did a skateboard trick in the background. We weren't even like watching. That's so funny.
Okay, you know what?
Are people watching? Can the viewers see this?
See if this is like
So
good.
how are they doing
We'll just show
these,
whatever. Just,
these
it's okay.
Sure.
We can talk about it while whatever. Flip over. Yeah, there we go. Just full screen that. Yeah. So this I don't know who's
I don't know.
whose camera. In
The thing is that like
so this is like a glitch. So what the fuck?
yeah.
You know what? I've found some of these before. I don't know how they're doing it or if they've actually modded the game.
You got guys just going 100 fucking feet in the air.
Yeah, normally I like the really goofy glitches where they'll just like scatter shot through the ground.
Yeah, right. But I've done what he's doing there. I have done it a couple times, and I found the glitch. And like, we used to play online,
Yeah.
and then you could, you know, have
That's
your
cool.
have your
Yeah.
buddy stand on. To see you. He'd actually have to stand his character and like face you.
exactly.
To be
just
able to
like,
see exactly what you're up
ultimately
to.
do it for
That's
sure.
so cool, honestly. That part where you can actually have like crew meetups and things like that. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I like that. Still searching away here.
Yeah, it's tough. I'd have to know the video, but anyway,
Uh,
it's solid though. Skate 3 is like legendary
It's
for
pretty good.
goofy glitches in
The UFC
in games.
glitches are fucking
they're
insane.
good
Have you
too.
seen those?
I have not.
Can you throw that
I
on
can
really
just
quick?
imagine.
Well,
Throw that on really quick.
Jesus Christ!
I can just imagine some rubber arm kind of
It's
mayhem.
it's
I don't
almost
know.
like nightmare fuel.
Which I don't even know which.
Just
version.
do UFC 2 glitch. What are you doing there? Glitch,
Switching
yeah.
it to you. So then
Yeah. UFC glitch. Yeah, there you go. That one there. That's the one. Yeah,
one?
yeah, that's the one. Rogan and Goldberg commentate. Yeah.
Well, that's not
but it's
them.
like, yeah, it's like right into a butt back mount.
Yeah, the problem with this one is that it's actually necessary to
Almost
hear
with
it.
the audio, right?
Yeah,
But just get the visual gag though. This one here. Once it
you're a
comes up.
visual gag.
Here we go. Throw that on, brother. This one's good. So you've never seen this?
I've never seen this before.
Just look. Don't just, jog through. Just let it play. Here we go. These glitches are
Oh,
just.
is that McGregor right away?
That looked
Yeah.
like was that a full on like ball?
Yeah,
Yeah, like groin to the head.
Nice.
Here, this one here is
Sorry.
pretty good. Look at this. What kind of jujitsu is this? He like trips him up. Like his wrists.
Yeah, his
full
hands
leg
are flipping
rotation.
upside down.
So good, yeah. Imagine seeing a fight like this, just like, get out of my way.
Kicking the leg out like this.
This right here, though, these submissions are just,
This looks like some Rubber Johnny shit, if you know that reference.
Yes. Rubber Johnny.
The funny part is you can see what the game's doing and trying to do, but it just can't. It can't. It's got confused along the way.
Bruce Lee versus Conor McGregor. Look at this. What?
What's up with
Just everything.
That's amazing.
Our friend Jazz Brazeau is probably upset right now because he worked on this game, and we're just
we're showing how the game's.
I'm like, look how terrible this is. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, Jazz.
That's how games work, though.
It's a fun game. It's whatever. Yeah, it's the way games work, right?
They're buggy.
How does skating work? No, it's the shittiest transition ever. Yeah. Hey, how does
exited shittily and then shittily?
How does skating work? You're like, actually, I can't get into that right now.
So what's your involvement now then, like with the skating kind of community, or what's?
I mean, the whole skateboard industry right now is kind of at a low place. A lot of the people who are in it aren't supporting it. And
what do you mean?
There's just like a lot of trends that are coming out that kind of are taking away from the core of it. Mm-hmm. So trends being like wearing polo hats or wearing, I mean, I guess Carhartt is part of skating kind of now.
A little bit.
It's like, it's wearing like, Carhartts and polo stuff. And
what's Carhartt? I'm not familiar.
Carhartts are like
you never heard of Carhartt
they're like work jeans, but
yeah, it's like if you wear them, you're generally like using them for work, like blue collar shit. But
exactly,
I know it from.
Is it a brand? Or?
Well, I know from like hip hop,
like
way back, like used to wear like Carhartts and Timberlands. And
yeah, exactly.
Like yeah, like
you look like a working man, but you're fresh at the same time.
That's right. Fresh as fuck. I used to sell Carhartt.
Really?
Yeah.
Illegally?
Yeah, under the table. No, I used to sell it, and it was funny because like your clientele is completely split. It's like guys that are going up north to work in the oil fields for like 6 months, and they're like, I need some Arctic protection, triple covered, triple stitch padding, everything insane. And then you have like Yo-Yo Homeboy comes in, and he's just like, yo, give me like the freshest overalls you got, but I'm only gonna use one strap.
Exactly. I went to school with a guy like that actually. In grade like 11, which is funny.
It was me.
So anyways, I it's that, and even though Converse is part of it too, you're seeing guys wearing Chuck Taylors, which I personally like wearing them, but I feel like they're the worst skate shoes ever.
How could you get good technique from them? Like isn't there like there's very little grip?
Yeah, I mean, and they're canvas. They're just like they're shaped like a banana. Like I just feel like they feel like shit. But people skate in those. They skate in Carhartts, and they skate in they're wearing polo hats. So I wouldn't say that it's fully from that. But I mean, even scootering right now is like all the young kids are scootering. So skateboarding is in a really weird, skateboarding.
What do you think of that? Why is it? That's a weird question, but why is it okay to ride a board with no handle and to use skates that are separate with no board, like you can rollerblade or something? But the second you add that like straight up post, it just something about it.
I don't think because it's like I feel like on a general scale, people know what looks good. You know what I mean?
Like a community aesthetic.
An aesthetic that people see and they can recognize it. And like,
you're totally right.
I honestly, I don't think when you see a grown man with a suit, which I have seen before, scootering to work down the street, it just there's an aesthetic to it that just doesn't look good. I don't know, and
what's
it doesn't.
What's up with that, right?
Exactly. I don't know. It's just the way it goes.
I know exactly what you mean, though.
If you think of a skier with his knees, I'm not knocking skiing. I think skiing is actually pretty dope.
There's a way to look cool skiing, and then there's exactly what you're about to describe.
Yeah, but I mean, just facing forward and kind of that that posture. It's like about posture and like being relaxed, and like there's something about snowboarding where when you're like standing this way,
it's a smooth.
Skateboard. It's I don't know. It's more of like a.
Isn't that weird though?
It is weird.
It's weird because
it exists, and that's why it's a thing.
Is there not like an element of lack of like perceived control, like when you have no you're simply riding it and your position on it, like you have no outside influence, right? Like with skiing you have the poles to kind of like, if something fucks up, maybe you can adjust it with the poles. Same with like a scooter, like if something like you're probably fucked, but like if something happens, you might be able to like adjust it with the handle.
If you're riding,
but if you're just like on a snowboard or on a thing, like you're either on or off.
Yeah.
Like there's no other interaction point.
Totally. Well, and I mean, even with with rollerblading and
you're doubly fucked.
Wait a minute. and scootering, but I just find that those things, aside from skating, I mean, all those things are more or less attached to you. So I mean, the scooter you can, if you want, you can huck it in the air and catch it again. But I'm just saying it's limited. You know.
I want someone to try and prove to me it's cool. Like, just show me, like, this guy's the coolest.
Does anyone no-hand scooter?
Yeah.
Does anyone just, like, rock a scooter like a skateboard?
Maybe.
Like, just,
I've
like...
never seen it.
No hand.
That'd be a weird move.
I'll tell you what, though.
It seems too, like, flippy-floppy.
Just to devil's advocate refute your control point that you had, C-Mart, just because I think that's an excellent point you made. Just to refute that just for a moment. It can't be control, though, because unicycles... are like almost in. It's weird that it depends who's using them. Isn't that really what it's about? Because if you see a unicycle and someone's rocking down the street and you're just like, look at this fucking this
it's not a good look.
This is, I don't know what's going on.
It's not a great look.
You know right away. But then there's some guys you're just like, nice. Look at this guy rocking it, doing well. But if he has a top hat or something, I'm just like, what the fuck?
You're way out.
Have you seen the unicyclists that go downhill, like on a mountain?
Yeah.
There's like downhill unicyclists.
Throw that on.
They go. I'm pretty sure they go over like the mountain bike trail. Like,
talk to me while C-Mart
like
finds
wood structures, the bridges and stuff.
So like really scary. Type in scary unicycle downhill.
Unicycle downhill. I would just type that in.
What the fuck?
And see, look at guys
extreme okay.
Guys go down like.
Gabe walks through this real quick here. Uncle Gabe. Here we go. So Rocco Schultz, it says, from Extreme Unicycling, Downhill and Bike Park. If you guys are watching or listening at home, if you want to follow along.
Come on.
Extreme Unicycling.
Is there a video of him walking up?
Wow, 40 seconds of walking up the hill. Okay.
Like,
thanks for scrubbing through. Appreciate it.
But you know what? I mean, does every unicycle have this hand? I feel like this is for downhilling.
Is it not just holding the seat, or is it?
He has a handle.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
He's holding the handle. He looks like.
Oh wait, no, his seat is bananaed up, and then he just holds onto the banana.
He looks like.
I like the little slow down there.
For everyone just listening.
They slowed that down.
Yeah, for everyone just listening right now, though, he looks like he's doing an insane Michael Jackson routine. Like
he also might be looking like he's protecting his areas, which I think is part of it.
Area. You could say dick. It's the internet. It's okay.
Yeah, but this is specifically his areas.
All his areas. His taint.
It's actually called the kazif.
Kazif?
Yes. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
That's the first time I've heard that term.
The space between your
2 F's?
balls and your ass is the kazif. And do you want to know why?
Why?
Because if you didn't have it, your guts would fall out.
Get the fuck out of
Because if you didn't have it, your guts would fall out.
All right. I guess that's the end of the show, guys. It's fun. It's been a really nice time.
Well, that's all the time we have tonight. That was amazing.
I feel like this is...
Thank you for walking us right into that.
I'm sure this is like sweet, but I don't know.
This is pretty cool. I got to say, though...
I feel like there's got to be like who's that Flatland guy? Roger, like Mullins. There's got to be like Craig Mullins of downhill.
Who's the Rodney Mullins of unicycling?
Yeah, Rodney, not Craig Mullins. That's the artist. That's the artist. He's a well-known artist.
You're like, can't see any.
This guy's just going through the desert.
This is like the.
This guy is just like.
You know what? I feel like it's.
I feel like I've met.
It's just a really strange thing to see that people are like. I mean.
Into.
Yeah, well, that passionate to the point where it shows like really nice scenic shots of them cruising through the desert on their unicycle. You know,
you're like, it's got to be a better way to do this.
Like,
right?
This is what clowns use.
Okay, so this guy.
Flatland.
Would you type in the Rodney Mullen of unicycling?
No. This guy's just like guy's
okay. Is the video still on for the fans? Listeners can watch us. Yeah. This is hilarious though. What's this? The Poham brothers. Oh, look at the slow-mo on this. I would like to hear Stacy's breakdown of this. What do you think of these kind of tricks? He's more like Dave Mira than fucking Rodney Mullen.
I can't say that he's not amazing at what he's doing, but I just have a hard time seeing I have a hard time seeing a female look at him and go, I want to take this guy home.
That's the watermark. Cool. What do you think about Flatland in general though? Like Flatland skateboarding and stuff.
Like street skating.
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's not super popular in
it's not that popular, and I mean, I respect it. I respect it because it's like the roots of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just it's so old that I didn't grow up with that. So I see it and I appreciate it, but I don't follow it or watch it that often. But I mean, Rodney Mullen, obviously, like I grew up watching Rodney versus Day One, the videos, and he at the beginning of his skate parts weren't flatland, or like, you know, the freestyle, but his intros were freestyle, and that him adding that at the beginning was like really inspiring. But,
so crazy. I remember the first time I ever saw him, and I thought I was watching magic. Like it felt like someone was doing a magic trick.
And he doesn't really seem that agile, which is weird.
No,
he's always seemed fairly kind of hunched over and a little bit weathered, you know. And it's like, how is this guy doing this stuff?
Yeah, he looks like, especially now, but I know he's not like this all. But he looked like he kicked a heroin habit, and then like he's doing okay now. Like that's what he looks like.
I was just always impressed that like he's clearly doing shit that not every skateboarder, like if you're just like a professional like half pipe guy or like whatever, like you cannot, like I would be surprised if they did that's outside their skill level.
Totally.
But they're
the term
also
is vert skater.
Sure, okay, sorry, yeah. What I mean is that it's also not legal. Like it has no impact. Like if you're doing like a run, like you can't just do flatland and just like win the tournament.
Is that
right? Those you're scored on your, like if you're doing
these days if you did that, I mean, I feel like people would definitely feel really weird about it. I don't know how else to put it.
Okay.
I don't know how else to put it. I just feel like maybe these days it doesn't really. They have flatland competitions. There's actually one that happens in Cloverdale. I'm pretty sure every year now, and Rodney Mullen comes down and actually one of the original flatland guys, he owns a distribution here. Called Ultimate, and I'm drawing a blank on his. Actually, it's his last name's Harris. His son's name is Colby, who I've actually tattooed before. But Kevin Harris owns Ultimate, and he lives here in Vancouver, and he's actually friends with all these guys, and he's an original flatland skater.
Nice.
No kidding. So when they do that, he's there, and Rodney Mullen, I'm pretty sure he came down this past, I think it was in the spring. But
wow,
but they have competitions specifically for that.
Yeah.
But if you tried to huck that in your run, that's what I mean. There's guys out there that do the same kind of skating that Rodney Mullen does.
Yeah.
But these days, when you see them, you kind of look at them like, the guy looks a little kooky. I don't know. It's not. There's one dude that does like, he'll do a front flip off of his board at the top of the set and land on another board at the bottom of the set, and it's cool to watch. And I
like
watch
the
it.
Wackiness.
And I get a good laugh out of it. But Rodney Mullen, for his time, was kind of the first guy doing it.
Yeah.
And he's like the originator, and he's been around forever. He invented a lot of tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. His legacy is interesting.
Like if you were to try to like even insert some of that into your run kind of thing, like it's not even scoreable. It's kind of like, well, that was weird. And you kinda
exactly.
move on.
Like if your guy just like
at the same time, it's still crazy.
It has like there's like elements to it that will always be appreciated, but like criteria wise, it's like the sport has kind of evolved. It's almost like, if I may, I feel like
you're not
back in. I'm gonna fight C-Mart by the end of this episode. I feel like if you look at hip hop and you look at like Sugar Hill Gang and the way Rapper's Delight comes across, like right, like that pattern of flow was the only way to do it. And then you have Rakim come on the scene, and Rakim's like microphone assassin, and like he's just this insane talent that is using setups. And then you have like Big Daddy Kane doing this kind of stuff, and he's evolving from it, and now he's doing 1-2, like I'm the guy, like I'm the guy of this, and you're the this, and I'm this, and you're this, and it's the flow is changing. But then you get to someone like Nas, and Nas starts doing multi-syllable, multi-pattern setup. So it's no longer just A, B, A, B, A, B. He's doing like A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. And he has multiple patterns, and he sustains it for like 16 to 20 bars at a time. And as he goes through all these rhyme patterns, everyone else is still doing like the Dougie Fresh, like well, my name is Jayme and I'm here to say.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's just like, I got the AK bent up in the stairway. And like, he sounds what modern rap started to sound like.
Totally.
And so now everyone just starts sounding like that. And you basically, you have these like game changers, these like outliers within any industry that just completely changed the course of the industry forever. And I think if you trace it back, Rodney Mullen, he's one of these guys that was just like, yes, these tricks may not have the pop and wow that they did, you know, back when they were first originated, but his impact is undeniable. How many people do you think he's grandfathered or even great-grandfathered this stage?
Yeah, well, even like you said, almost everyone.
Everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like now they have the whole competitions around that style.
Right.
It's like pretty crazy, right?
That's exactly it, right? Because it wasn't until maybe after Nas, it wasn't until like Eminem came. Then you're like, okay, Eminem's like changed flows patterns again so hard. And then you go farther, like, and you see the way these massive stars are impacting the industry. So you look at skating, and skating had, like, when we started this tonight, you were like, you know, it's not where it was. It's kind of in a low place, but there's a lot of like trendy factors that are affecting that. In the valley of its growth, it's not like the mountain, but like if you go back to like late 90s, like holy fuck, man, like there was probably no shit household names, at least for skaters, probably like 30, 40 household names, or you're like, holy shit, these
obviously
big.
Tony Hawk is ridiculous,
obviously, right?
popular,
but when, you know what I mean, like there's tiered stars, marquee names, and like the kind of events, and like nowadays, man, I think you have people hearkening back to those names, but it's not creating the stars the same way, you know?
It's not.
No.
It's not, like, you mean right now, like
the industry itself, yeah.
Yeah, with I mean, just everything oversaturated.
Way oversaturated.
It's really hard to, and because they originated it, and now everyone's kind of adding like just adding kind of like a notch on top of what everybody else already did or like originated. Mm-hmm. So now to really stand out, it's a good thing actually. Right now, the people who really stand out are the people who excel in style, because everything is getting so tech, and because everything's progressive and getting crazier and crazier. So all the people that are really staying around now, I mean, for a while you were seeing all these guys who were coming out and really pushing the boundaries, and they were getting hooked up and they were becoming kind of the new guys, but it slowed down because it's too much for people. You know, I mean, if you're going to go skating, I feel like you're not going to really want to watch the guy who's going to do the craziest, techiest trick, because it's not really feasible to you. So it's hard for you to get stoked on that and go out and be like, well, I'm not going to go out and do that today. But like my favorite skaters are the guys who kind of tone it down a notch. Who tone it down a notch and just do it really well.
Pure style point.
But
style.
I mean, I love tech skaters, but it's like just not being too tech. I mean,
too mechanical.
Yeah, exactly. And then just doing it really clean. So
who's that fucking skater?
I still feel the hip hop comparison draws in that, because there are like incredible technical rappers that are just like, whoa, their syllables crazy.
It's a good example, because they're often the words, because you can in words, music you can feel it when someone doesn't like.
Yeah,
I mean, like they're simply saying the words at the exact right times, and they're kind of like moving through the thing. It's kind of like reading lines, and they're excellently executing on the lines. It's just that there's not a lot of like
there's the emotion
behind it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
and style,
I mean, and not just that. I mean, it's in everything. It has to be somewhere in between for me. It's like it's like somebody. Yeah, it's like it can't, when it's too crazy. It's, you know what I mean?
Just wacky.
It's just wacky, and then that's the thing. It's like it's like being, but simplicity is something that's amazing too. So it's like if you're in between simplicity and crazy, and you also have an element of style in there, that's what makes everything.
Yeah, it's crucial.
That's true. Do you think maybe it's vulnerability?
What's that?
That maybe adds to, like, that kind of puts it in the middle. The vulnerability of,
what's
like,
vulnerability in that
like
capacity?
They most likely have the technical capacity to do these really insane technical tricks, but the humility,
they're choosing not
the vulnerability.
I mean, I wouldn't say vulnerability or humility at all. It's like, I feel like it's just choice, I guess.
A proper application.
Well, that, like, control of your own technique is got to be part of that.
it goes, maybe I can, the first thing that comes to my mind is maybe painting or something, because you can do a painting forever, you know, like I've gotten paintings where I just go, okay, you know what, it's done, I have to put this down, because I can, you know, touch it up and add little flicks and
classic artist.
Yeah, just do that forever. So
Yeah.
at a certain point you have to just tone it down and maybe it not be too crazy and more appealing to the eyes, you know, maybe a little bit softer,
right?
You know, with even hearing it with rap or something, you know, when somebody's somewhere in the middle, it's not too crazy, it's not hard on the ears, but it's not too soft where you're bored. It's kind of like that with everything. So I don't know if it's vulnerability per se.
You lose perspective as you start to tweak and tune, right? Because you start to become so involved in it that you're hearing it for the 30,000th time.
Yeah.
Or seeing it for the, you know, you've looked at it for like 100 hours and you're like, it's not there. And it's like, you don't take into perspective someone that's seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And like their emotional response.
Your own creative
and like their
bubble.
kind of thing. And so, yeah, in that way,
yeah, like
I think it's important to, I mean, it's a classic thing, like no work of art is ever done, right? You just kind of like stop.
Yeah.
Your art's really good. Your art in like just in general is really good, but like you're a talented dude. So you're skating, and I don't want to fast forward through your stuff here. I think you have an amazing story, but I also want to talk to you about your art and tattoos and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Maybe we could quickly do a Float House ad.
Oh yeah, we didn't even.
Yeah, I think we could do an ad real quick for the podcast, and then once we come back, then we can maybe talk more skate.
Sweet.
Transition into art.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, if you're listening and you happen to be in the reach of your phone or maybe a computer, go ahead and browse over to floathouse.ca. What's that? It's the premier destination for isolation float tanks. What's a float tank? Well, it's simply the best way to spend time and unlock the mysteries of your mind. It's unbelievable. It's actually great. It's super relaxing. It's super cool. And the best part about it is the knowledgeable staff that will walk you through every step of the way. Float House is a great place to spend your time. It's like a spa for your mind. It's the best way to do it. I really like it. I float. You should float. We all float. Let's go ahead and do it. Use our podcast promo code IIPodcast and get 20% off your next float. Go to floathouse.ca right now and use that podcast promo code. Tell them we sent you. They'll love you. Or they'll ask you what is Intergalactic Interviews, and they won't know at all.
I hope it should work. It should work.
I mean, I would hope to God at this point they'd be like, yeah, of course, we know that.
I think the promo code didn't work for a while, but I think it works now.
It didn't work, but I confirmed pretty much every 2 weeks that it still works. So, yeah, it's fine.
I let that you wait a week.
No, I can't. Yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
It's my faith meter.
Yeah.
It goes down a bit, and I'm like, I better check. Better make sure.
Nice.
I personally have floated probably a dozen times.
Do you really like it?
I do really like it.
Nice.
I float. Stacy floats.
I float.
We float. Go ahead and check it out. Use our podcast promo code IIPodcast. When did you start floating?
I started floating when our boy Adam started working here.
Adam McCoy.
Oh, nice.
Love Adam. I saw him at the show on Friday. When I was,
Friend of the show?
He came in between one of the announcements and came to say hi to me backstage. It's nice.
Can I tell a quick story about Adam?
Please. Oh my God.
Well, you know the story.
I do.
Adam is a close friend of both of ours, and somehow we never met until somehow we didn't meet before the time that we met.
We had met briefly because of some work with dressing Life's Wounds and my production.
Oh right, yes, that right.
But then we didn't actually really connect until I think Mizzy introduced us properly. Yeah.
But thank you for reminding me.
That's okay.
I I'm an asshole and forgot about that.
No, I think about it today too. I was like, how did we meet originally? I know now.
But yeah, Adam is a really awesome dude.
Such a great soul. Love that guy.
I saw a post on Facebook, which, when you see those posts where somebody says something that kind of sounds like that person had passed away, it kind of gets you a little bit anxious. And I was scrambling, messaging you.
Especially given the events of this past week we were talking about.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So, I mean, I was on edge and I was looking around for somebody who could give me answers because one of his ex-girlfriends because he lived in Kamloops. That's how I know him.
Right.
So I know his ex Kamloops.
Yeah, this was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what happened was I was phoning around for an hour and scrambling and thinking that something had happened to him, and honestly, I've had like 5 or 6 numbers for Adam in my phone.
Me too, actually. So
it's like Koi Lido,
me,
Koi New,
Koi,
McCoy, you know, just so many different things.
I had Koi 2016 and Koi 2015 in my phone, and then
it's like a yearly release of
a
new number.
Yeah.
So by the time you messaged me, and you're like, "Hey man, I think something might be up with Adam. Do you want to, reach out or something?" I forget what I was doing, but I was like, yeah, I dropped everything, and I was like, okay. I was like, can you let me know if he's okay? And then my phone died, so I wasn't able to plug it in for like a good, I don't know, hour plus or something like that. So as soon as my phone turned on, like 1%, I'm like quickly trying to refresh back to our message chat, and I was like, man, what's going on? And you're like, what happened?
Yeah. So what happened was, I had been kind of scrambling for an hour asking so many people, and nobody was getting back to me. People were getting back to me, but nobody knowing what was up.
Yeah.
And I decided to look through my phone again, and I was like, you know what? I have put a number in there under McCoy, but I remember the last one being like Koi New.
Yeah.
So it's so stupid, like what you decide to type in there. But so I go back into my phone and I go to McCoy because his phone wasn't working on the other one. It was going straight to this phone's disconnected. So I went to McCoy and I just tried it. I called and it was ringing. And then all of a sudden he's just like, "Hey dude, what's up?"
Oh, yes.
And I was like, "Oh my God, you asshole." Like I just went through this past hour for me was insane. I've been pacing around, like phoning people, trying to figure out what's going on because as you
gets out of the shower, like, "What's up, man?"
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know if you know Adam at all.
I do not.
But he's
Adam. He's Adam manages here. He's
a very spiritual human, and he's just like a really good friend.
We always greet each other with peace. He's always like, "Peace, brother." I'm always like, "Peace, brother." All the time.
Even though I don't talk to him on a daily basis, he's one of those friends that, if I talk to him in 3 months from now, we have a really solid conversation and we kind of tell each other what's been going on in the past little while.
Same.
And for me, so when it happened, I was just like, this isn't happening. This guy's not leaving us.
No, not yet.
No way.
I was so relieved. Like I had my own little 1 hour panic though, because I talked to you, and then as soon as my phone, I was like, I think I need to like finish up. I think I was out having lunch or something like that, and I was like, you know what, I have to like finish up here and go plug in my phone because I'm getting concerned. So by the time, it was just so funny, like
rising anxiety.
When someone's worked up, like, because here's the best part: you were worked up, and then Adam calmed you down with like, "Oh no, I'm here, man." You're like, "Okay, sweet." Like you do decompress. I'm still like at a 10, and I'm like, What's going on? And then by the time I talk to you, you're like, "Oh no, man, everything's fine." I just talked to. I'm like, "Oh Jesus Christ!"
Well,
like an hour.
Another thing too is that whole couple weeks prior to that event happening, that whole thing happening, I had been kind of like out of sorts or whatever, just kind of going through something at the time, and so when I talked to him, I was super upset that something may have happened to him. So when we talked, we had, an hour-long conversation, and he totally did exactly what I love in him. He just like calmed me down, and he told me, the world's going through a crazy thing with all the fires and the burning. Everyone's going through a burn and kind of like a rebirth kind of thing. But not just in those kind of, he talks real. He wasn't just saying these random words and terms to make it sound very vague.
Yeah.
But he went into detail about what's been going on in his life, and it really helped me out. And I was like, after we got off the phone, I was so upset that something had happened to him, and then he just did exactly why I would have been upset that something happened to him, because he talked me down from my past couple weeks that had been kind of crazy. He
has a really cool way of looking at life. Mm-hmm. He has like this very calming presence, which I'm sure the Zaremba brothers here, at Vancouver Real and everything, I'm sure they see it, and that that's a major part of why he's involved here. Like the idea that he's got, I don't know, I just feel like when I talk to Adam, he's got things figured out. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of the time,
Totally.
He projects that energy, which is really cool. I
really like hanging out. And if he doesn't, he'll figure it out.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
he's on the path.
Yeah,
I'm serious though.
He's always on a path to figure out something that's not working or something that's not right.
He greets me the way people end conversations. Like there's no. It's not like "Hey man" or "Hello." It's like "Peace, brother." I'm like "Peace, brother." Like every time, start and end. I'm like, I love that, man. I love that about him. He's such a good guy. You're a good guy.
Thanks.
You're an excellent guy.
Thank you.
I think your talent is, it's almost like not enough room in a podcast to talk about how much cool shit you do.
Just talk about the tattoos though.
Should probably talk about tattoos. So like, when did you stop skating pro? Because we didn't even get to you.
Yeah, so I mean, you were asking about where my position was in skating. So
that was with C-Mart's original question.
Yeah, that was your original question.
Yeah.
I'm still sponsored. I have, I still get my Canadian pro boards with the company Kitsch that's local here. Jeff Dermer. So there's not a lot of Canadian brands, and the ones that have been out there, in my opinion, they just didn't do it right. They didn't do it on a scale where you could give somebody a pro board and that would be respected, whereas he's somebody who's been in videos for years. Everyone looks up to him. He's a great guy. And so him
really nice guy.
Him coming out with a board brand and doing all this, it's just one of the brands in Canada. There's only 2 or 3 in Canada that have that respect.
Yeah, totally.
And so I still ride for his company and we still try and do as much stuff as possible. But I mean, we're just not, there's no magazines, so we're not shooting photos for magazines anymore. And nobody's really that determined to go out there and film that much stuff, and skate the streets and get kicked out of spots, like just where things are. There's an accident outside here. Yeah. There's lights flashing.
There's the infrastructure. Is everything okay out there?
I don't know. They're bringing out the stretchers, so
I don't know if it's happened inside. I don't think anyone got hit. There's no car accident, I don't think. I think it's someone in the building.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this at this location many times.
Yeah.
So
we had a bit of a weird moment like a year ago. This one-armed guy robbed.
We're still milking.
Yeah, this one-armed guy got robbed by this white hood rat.
Yeah.
And
two-armed guy.
Yeah, and the one-armed guy won.
Amazing.
Yeah, they tackled behind this barrier behind you.
Wow.
And we couldn't see them. We couldn't see them as they went down. And you'd think the two-armed guy would get up. No, down for the count, down there. And then he just popped up like the Matrix or something like that, ran across the road without looking and missed a Nissan by an inch. And it's all on camera.
It was a good dodge.
Yeah, it was a pretty insane. He rolled a natural 20 for sure.
Yeah.
He seriously just about got smacked. And it would have been all on camera.
Yeah, it would have been lots of broken legs.
Yeah,
all your legs.
We would have been all witnesses.
That's kind of how it goes. Somebody with a handicap tries harder than the guy. They do. It's
true.
So.
I think we were talking about Kitsch though. And
exactly. Yeah. So I mean. I still do all of that stuff and I'm still skating as much as I can. And I mean, I just did it for so long and I don't know, it's nice to take a break a little bit and kind of do something else. And, I skate. I mean, sometimes I'll skate maybe 3 times a week and then sometimes I skate once a week. And I don't know, I just kind of going out when I feel like it and I just go out with my close friends and keep skating and keep filming. I feel better on my board right now than I ever have, even though I'm not skating as much. And I think it's because my mind isn't on it. Yeah. So when you get injured from skateboarding, all you can think about is skateboarding. And you go, when am I going to get back to this? When can I get back to it? And I feel like when you're constantly thinking about it, that's when you notice the time gap from when you stop to when you start again.
Sure. Yeah.
So when you're not thinking about skating, I'm not constantly going, when was the last time I skated? It kind of just feels like yesterday every time because I'm so busy focusing my energy on tattooing and designing and doing that stuff. So now when I go skating, I feel better on my board. I'm still skating, but there's no magazines, so things are slower. But the thing is that it worked out perfectly with the timing of what I'm doing right now and where skateboarding is at. It's kind of even if it was at a good place, it's just not the right. I don't know. It's just not a good time to be.
Yeah, you guys are on the same tide.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it worked out perfectly. Where skateboarding's at, and now I'm doing something a little bit different. It's kind of.
Can I ask you when, say, before you started not being as active, is that a good way to put it? Because you're still active, but But I'd say more when you were more busy with it. I would say when you were every day, when you said you had your mind on it.
Yeah.
Back at that point, right before you started making these decisions, were you still enjoying it? Was it enjoyable?
Well, I mean, yes, I was, but I actually had an injury. I hurt my ankle it was such a silly injury. It was just one of those like you're doing something, stupid kind of or whatever, and I folded my ankle really bad, and all my friends thought for a long time that I was like, they're like, what's up with him? Like, is he faking it? But it was just because like I'm not one to complain about injuries, and like I don't know, a lot of people, I went on trips and people were just kind of tripping out on how I was, even the way that I look, like standing on my board and like complaining about my foot and kind of all the stuff. Like I had this really weird injury with kind of like the ball of your ankle by your heel.
Right.
I don't know the anatomy of it fully.
What did it feel like though?
Right below the ball of your ankle, like that hard bone, that ball, right below it, there was like a big ball of scar tissue. So anytime you tried to flex your ankle and point your toes up, you had very limited range of motion. And if something happened where you jarred your ankle, it would tear the scar tissue again and then send you in like basically a 2 week of I can't walk. I'm hobbling around. So I was standing tippy-toed for a long time, and it affected my body. So I was kind of, weaker on one side, stronger on the other. And what that does is cause an imbalance, which ultimately causes, muscle spasms that can reach up to your neck, and you get like,
migraines.
A neck cramp where all of a sudden your neck's seizing up and you can't even turn your head to the left. So stuff like that. So I went on a trip to China actually and thought, okay, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just going to go on this trip. I knew, but in my head, I was like, I shouldn't be going on this trip.
I think this is when we just met. You had just got back, or you're just going to China?
Then well, actually, you know what? That would have been when I was getting better. Probably,
right? Yeah.
Because the last time I went, I filmed quite a bit of stuff and I was feeling better on my board. But the time before that, I pinched a nerve in my neck, and the whole rest of the trip I was trying to get massages. Nothing worked until I got home, and like that's when from that trip, that's when I went kind of Rocky on it. I was wearing, I went to the physiotherapist who I'd been going to a lot, and I asked him, tell me right now if I need surgery or not. Tell me right now, like, do I need surgery? Or can I work through this? Because I can't do this anymore. It's it's affecting my mental. It's affecting everything. And I'm starting to like really dislike skateboarding. Like
it's beyond skateboarding at this point.
Yeah, I would watch skating and just critique everything and be kind of bitter towards it. And he told me, he's like, I've seen worse. You can work through this. If you get surgery to fix the scar tissue, the surgery itself will cause scar tissue. So if you break it up naturally, you're going to be kind of in the same position. You don't need the surgery. So you can work through it to the point where you can have, a good range of motion.
Yeah.
So he said you just need to really follow these exercises and do them religiously, like do them. So that's when I was like, okay, like I started going for jogs, which is really weird. I felt like, I kind of ran like Terry Fox,
right?
Like kind of with like that hobble
on every like third beat. Basically.
Exactly. So then I got to the point where I was jogging, and I went back to him and he said, okay, today I want you to start running now. And if it hurts, just run. Because he kind of could feel my range of motion. He just said, okay, run. So I was putting on my sweatsuit, and I think it was during winter, so it was just raining every day, and I'm just running in the rain, like hopping up stairs,
just rocking.
Just rocking, and I was running up the stair, or hopping up the stairs on one foot, and then you skip a stair and hop from one to
at the art gallery,
and to the point where with on my bad ankle, I could hop up a 4 or 5 stair, which is pretty high. A 5 stair is like higher than this table, and I could hop up the whole set on my bad ankle, and at that point, that's when I started going out, and all these tricks for the past 2, because it went on for 2 years, that injury.
Wow.
So I went 2 years, and if you look at my old footage, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to do a little pull up here or something, but go to this part, and you can see in all the footage that I stand so strange, like I'm standing tippy-toed on my bad foot.
Stacy Gabriel, sorry, I just haven't
no worries.
Spelled it. So
just Y. Just Y, S-T-A-C-Y. Yeah.
Sorry, I can't.
That's okay.
Oh yeah, it's because his view of the monitor. Yeah. Sorry, Stacy Gabriel, and then you just type that in. It'll come up. It'll be like one of the top 4 things on maybe YouTube is the best.
Sure. I also spelled your name fucking terribly.
Stacy Gabriel.
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 That's your Christian name.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. It's evil.
So anyways, I was standing tippy-toed for a long time, and it was.
I love that every time we go to YouTube,
bullshit?
this comes
What? Sorry.
I mean, can I swear? Can I just?
Oh, you can fucking swear.
Have we not been fucking swearing?
No, we haven't been swearing at all.
Oh, I have been. Under my breath.
I gotta be honest with you.
It's kitsch bric-a-brac somewhere. Go down a little bit further.
Dude, I have been fucking.
Somebody type kitsch in.
Yeah, maybe try that.
Is it kitsch like Kitsch?
Kitsch.
Yeah.
Since the show on Friday, I have been wrecked. Like just hammer
right
time.
there. This one right.
This guy. Okay.
Yeah. So
show us this line here. So what this bric-a-brac?
I'm just gonna do a switcheroo.
Sure thing. Here we go. Pull this up. People watching at home, go check out bric-a-brac 07 Stacy Gabriel.
This is a long intro. You can jump ahead.
Oh, he's gaming. What are you playing there?
I was playing Call of Duty.
Oh, nice.
And actually, you know what? That's a whole other story. I have so many stories for you guys.
Just let it rock. Just let it rock.
Yeah. So I mean, not so much in here as much, but you'll see when I land. Watch when I land with my left foot, my back foot there. See how I lift my toe up? It's because I'm worried that I'm gonna jar it, so I lift my toe up to protect myself.
I see it there too. Yeah.
That was I think that was the wrong foot actually, but
still,
it's not everything in here, but there's certain ones that you'll see that are really bad. And I did the whole Rocky routine and did some running, and then I got back into skating, and now I feel really good on my board.
Is this all in van?
I don't skate stairs as much.
No, it's like China.
Oh, sorry.
I don't.
All the Asian stuff.
Right there. Go back and do a freeze frame.
Yeah.
Go back and do a freeze frame. Go back a little bit further. Right after this. So right there. Push pause at the beginning of that where I'm riding up.
Oh, back.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Approach, right? Yeah, I see. This approach right after this run right here.
Right there. So I mean, you can even a frame further back, like you can see even a frame further back. Oh, it's weird. Yeah, it's super finicky.
But the way you're
but you can see that I'm just like nobody skates like that. You know, it's silly. But I hate look at that.
There.
My heel will not touch the board because it doesn't flex. So I skated for 2 years like that.
Damn, dude.
And tried to keep, but I still did some stuff that I was like, okay, I'm doing some stuff that I've never seen before.
That speaks a lot to outside of your friends in the skating community, and like the good folks over at Kitsch probably. Who knew that you were dealing with this? Did many people know this?
Mostly just my close friends, But
that's crazy, man. Because you're excelling. In the face of that, that's serious adversity. Like people don't,
Daewon Song said it in an interview, and it really put things into perspective for me. He said a professional is somebody who can do what they do injured. That was a quote he said in an interview, and I was like, you know what, that it kind of put it into perspective for me. So
it's good advice.
After that part, I was kind of a little bit. It's not embarrassing, but it's just like I don't like looking at it. I'm like, that's not how I skate. I was injured.
Obviously very critical, like you were saying before, even that like you're looking at people's videos and going, well, I don't know. Yeah, like I'm sure you might be thinking, like, a few steps ahead, and some other person who's very critical going like, oh, he's lifting his foot and doing. You're like, oh, that's not the technical, and you're thinking about you, thinking about them, thinking about so you're not proud in that way.
We just got director's commentary though on this, like that clip. Like there's no bric-a-brac director's commentary.
I don't think.
Right.
I would never have noticed.
That's pretty sweet.
Foot lift like that.
See that though. That's like expert analysis where you're able to determine technique, so things like that. Like I don't know. Like I think about in production when I look at stuff I produced over 10 years ago, and it's like. Is it functional? Yes. Does it match the creativity of the artist and what we wanted to do at the time? Yeah, absolutely. But in terms of the flash that I know I can do now, I'm like I can listen to it, but I also feel I'm like damn, there's a lot I would love to do now with it. But that you start to let go of things and just be like, okay, that was a moment in time.
Some stuff lives exactly.
Right?
It lives in that space, and that is part of it.
Exactly. And actually, to another level, I would almost say that I know what you're saying, how you feel about it, but that clip we were just watching, that almost makes it fucking cooler to me. That's extra cool, because now I'm like, wait a minute, he was doing that with that level of injury and that kind of pain all the time. Dude, people can't do some of that stuff with no pain.
I know, right? That's what I mean. So that's why when Daewon said that, I was like, okay, on a whole different scale, you know, I'm considered a Canadian professional, but I mean, still to be able to do tricks that you don't see in videos, like that one trick that we just looked at, was something that I had never seen before, and I was still able to do it, but it's not the way that I like to see it really.
Again, with the artist, it's never perfect, right?
No.
Just like I didn't do this podcast itinerary properly, and I didn't even get a chance to really touch on tattooing or art or anything. I was just like,
right, but I mean, it's cut and sew, right? So
yeah,
to a degree. So
that's true. I think your
can also come back.
You can 100% come back anytime you want as well. We usually rock like an hour. I want to fucking keep talking though a little bit. We can go a little bit over.
Yeah, I mean, we can touch base on something and come back to it or something.
I love that. Okay, let me ask. So as you started to, you know, like you say, not have your mind on it as much, but you're obviously maintaining all your connections and accolades, etc. You obviously have always known you were good at art. Is that right? Or was this a discovery?
No, I mean, I've been doing, I feel like a broken record, but I'll say it again, just because I feel like I get asked it a lot, but it's good. Since I was in grade 4, 5, you know, like I was starting to do kind of portrait stuff. So I did a sketch of hands that even now, like when I look at them, I'm like, that's a good sketch of hands. Like it looks like real hands. And I submitted it to this thing called the Young Artists, which was a thing with all the districts around, you know, the Thompson River, Okanagan. I don't know how far it goes out, but they would do that. And everyone from different schools who, I think they took 2 people per grade from different schools, and then you got to go to a convention and go to this big artist convention, and you submit your art. And I submitted that picture, and they didn't believe that I did it. So I got. They said they thought they thought that my family member drew it and submitted it, and like they don't really. It wasn't to the point where my teacher was like really. She didn't fight for it. It was just kind of like, oh, they didn't think that was you that did it.
Life lesson. They think you're a liar. And
they think I'm a liar. Yeah.
What?
And so I submitted the same one in grade 6, 2 years later, and it actually got in 2 years later.
Out of here. It's because, like,
That's funny.
Gertrude retired or whatever on the board. She wasn't like whoever the fuck, like Mary Ellen wasn't on the board anymore, and she was the one who really pushed you as a liar, and then, you know, someone else had your back in that meeting.
Yeah.
To carry you 2 years later.
So that's kind of where it all started. And I mean, I've always done paintings. Like even throughout high school, I did a lot of portrait work, and I don't know why I was just so attracted to, I feel like I got a lot of recognition for doing stuff that was like copying what something is real, you know? Mm-hmm. It was like, well, this guy's really good because he can look at something real and make it look like that on paper. Which nowadays like is my kind of more or less my least favorite thing to do.
So do you have a lot, are you classically like trained in any way, like with life drawing or with like anatomy or?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's just like repetition, nice. Just trying it.
Because hands are traditionally very hard.
Yeah. I mean, but I've never had an issue with that. Honestly, I mean, I was made in the way that I just look at something, and when I see a little thing, like, because I look at it so closely.
Yeah.
And there's times where I'm doing paintings where I'll do like a little thing, you know, it's like, okay, I'm looking at the image and there's kind of like a little blotch or a blur. I'm just copying what I see. That's it. So I'll copy that and be like, there's no way that this little thing is going to make that look like, you know, like maybe grease on cheese. Like I've painted hamburgers before, and people have tripped out on like, every time I show them the hamburger painting, they think that it's a photo, because the cheese actually looks like it has oil on it. And up close, I'm like, there's no way this is going to make it look like it shines. And then I put it 10 feet away from me, and I'm like, holy shit, I just did that.
Yeah. Perspective is.
That's really crazy.
But that's just how my brain works. And actually it's kind of funny because when I'm drawing or painting, a lot of the time, if you were to like sit there and watch me, I go back and forth so much, left to right, like looking at my reference and going back. I do it so much that my eyes start to shake back and forth.
Like jittery?
Like, you know how some people can do that?
I want to get that looked at.
Yeah.
You probably had a kid in school that could like stare at you and make their eyes shake.
I could do that.
Yeah, you can actually do it.
I could do that, yeah.
So that happens to me when I'm looking back and forth between reference and what I'm painting, and just because like I'm like just copying what I see. But
crazy.
But yeah,
your phone's blowing up like crazy.
Yeah, it's actually there. His name's Nigel. He's my landlord's fix-it guy.
Oh.
And we have I'm allergic to wasps, and we have a wasp nest in the front of the house and a wasp nest in the back of the house.
Jesus.
Oh.
So Nigel's coming to spray them down, and he's probably wondering if I'm at home.
Yeah.
I don't know.
First of all, is that phone from 1992 or
what's up with that? Yeah, you do have like an old looking phone.
Everyone talks about my phone.
You've rocking dually phones.
I noticed you've got 2 phones. Is that your burner?
This is an iPod Touch.
That's your burner. That's your burner from The Wire season 2.
This is an iPod Touch. This phone is actually last year's model, so this is from 2016. And the new one is all black, and it's a little bit slimmer.
That's gangster.
So you're like,
I'm about to upgrade.
Do you subscribe to the small phone philosophy, or are you just like, do you like buttons, or what's your deal?
I mean, honestly, I'm just really frugal.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've gone like most of my life. I never had money, and so I did a lot of things just to. I could make $10 last a month, you know.
Yeah.
So I started doing it, and I keep some of those things, even though now with the tattooing,
you're doing well for yourself.
Things are really doing. Things are going well. So. I don't have the need to do that.
That's cool. I kind of envy that a little bit.
I'm happy having my iPod Touch that's Wi-Fi. My brother works for Shaw, so he gave me his corporate password so that everywhere I go,
allegedly
everywhere I go, every 2 blocks I'm like connected to Wi-Fi anyways. So I have it, and I just rock it.
That's what I use here actually. I've never even used the Float House password. You asked me before the show what the Float House was. I was like, I don't know. I only use my Shaw master password.
Yeah, right.
Everywhere I go.
I don't. There's no Shaw here. I would be connected.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I'm gonna do that as long as I possibly can.
No, I mean I love it. I think it's just funny. I used to have a old I don't know if it's generation 1, but early generation BlackBerry with the side scroll wheel.
Oh yeah.
And I love that. I got it because I lost
the Pearl.
No.
The Curve.
Way before the Pearl.
That was on the side of the thing?
On the side of the scroll wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I dare you to play Brick Breaker with that motherfucker. I did. I did pretty good.
Did you do okay?
Yeah, I did okay. But yeah, I would love the comments. I'm sure the phone is already even a conversation piece. Someone's like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, people. It's funny they make fun of me for it, and then they see how serious I am about it. They're like, "Wow, that's cool."
Yeah, right on.
No, I kind of admire.
You can't knock the hustle on the phone. Don't get me wrong.
I was all ready to hate all over it, and I'm like, no, actually, I kind of think it's cool now.
I thought they were 2 phones, and I thought it was funny that you have 2.
I like that. When I have my case on this, which I usually do, it just looks like an iPhone 6 or 7. So people are like, damn, this guy's fucking, what's this guy's burner phone all about?
Can I be straight up just to bring this all home at this point? You basically just made scooters look cool. That's basically what you just did. I was like, he did it. This is nice. This guy made unicycles cool. I was like, that's pretty rad.
Do people add tassels to scooters?
Yeah, the ones I didn't see any of those
girls would do that maybe.
When you flip around, it would be way more flashy, right?
That's what you need is spandex and way more flashy with scootering.
Yes.
Unicorn tights.
Yeah. There's a whole different culture associated with that.
I've actually gone to a party or something and met a girl will bust out a phone just like this, and I was like, I'll look at her and just kind of pull out mine and put it over there and be like, check it out.
Nice.
And then she's like, yeah, I use this one for Wi-Fi, and pulls out her iPod Touch, and I'm just like, whoop, look what I got. It's it's happened before. I've met people who do the same thing, but that one specifically, it was my friend's barbecue, and this girl had the same setup as me, and I was like, yeah, what's up?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's a good
pretty rad. Yeah, that's a.
Allegedly.
C-Mart. Hilarious. My man, will you please come back and do the show soon? Because we hadn't had a chance to talk about.
We didn't talk about tattooing.
Honestly, I feel like you could just come in and do a 3-hour mega special or something like that. Because we could just chat for fucking hours. I don't even want it to be a long time between your next episode. You should come back and
totally.
The next,
yeah, I mean,
we have to look at the schedule. Probably the next 8 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, honestly, I'm down.
That's pretty good turnaround.
Because I feel like I have a lot to talk about with tattooing. So that's what I was expecting to talk about. But we just talked about skating.
That should speak to your knowledge base, though.
Part 1.
Yeah, this is definitely part 1.
The prequel.
The resources that you can draw upon, though, for conversation says a lot about you. So I think that the fact that we didn't even get to like that
the
means,
meat.
Yeah, the meat of it means.
And I really have to pee.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys have pee breaks in between this sometimes, but
so normally the guests, it's really hard for them to leave.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I'll bust out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I can get away with it.
It's always been show etiquette on our
I don't.
Our show etiquette is that when you leave, you are roasted until you come back. That's the only.
What do you mean I'm roasted till I come back?
We'll just roast.
Just talk shit.
Like a C-Mart.
Fuck Steve McGowan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like C-Mart leaves, and I just say mean things until he comes
I know
back.
that's not true though, but yeah.
I don't think I've ever taken a washroom break on my own show. I don't think I've ever done.
But do you guys normally drink a couple Kronenbergs?
Usually, we
normally go to the Met beforehand.
We're both a few shots deep right now.
Oh,
so, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, you should have come by.
Yeah,
And he refuses to invite guests to the Met.
lie.
I don't know why.
Did I not tell you we were at the Met tonight?
No.
That's a lie. Check your Facebook on your phone.
MD caught in another lie.
He didn't tell me.
I believe that to be true.
This is
He's notorious.
bullshit between the two of you right now, making stuff up. Stacy, you're a king, man. I wanted you to come back real soon. If people wanted to follow you or book tattoos, because I can tell you it's fucking phenomenal. How can people do so?
Go to Instagram and type in @UncleGabes. My last
we didn't
name
even go over that.
My last name is Gabriel. I have friends from Edmonton that called me that, and it stuck. So it's Uncle Gabes.
Yeah.
I've used it for Xbox and everything, so it's just like, okay, my Instagram account was that, and
Uncle
it was a joke.
Gabes.
But now that I tattooed, like I wasn't about to change my name.
Yeah.
It's just what it was before.
It's totally.
Does anyone ever call you Stabriel?
Jesus.
No, they don't.
That's fine. Moving on.
That's a new one.
Well, I mean, if they want to, they could. I've heard Gacy Stabriel, sure.
Oh, sure.
Stabriel.
Yeah, maybe once before.
Stabriel.
I don't know.
That's a badass 2017 name right there. Stabriel.
Right?
It's like a weird murder angel or something.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's pretty rad. Definitely make sure you guys go to Instagram and follow Uncle Gabe. Gabe's.
Are there underscores? Is it an S or is it a Z?
No, it's with an S. Uncle Gabe's,
which is really cool because
Nice.
I can't believe that's available. Right? That was awesome.
Yeah, I got it a long time ago, I guess. So I got lucky with that.
Ground floor. Nice.
Yeah.
And if people listening, you guys want to listen to the podcast next time, or you want to follow us and subscribe, definitely go to Intergalactic Interviews. This is episode 143, so there's quite a bit of content on there for you guys to check out, especially if you like the stuff we're listening to today. We're definitely going to have Stace back on very, very soon. But if you go ahead and search our podcast name, Intergalactic Interviews, we're available on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube and SoundCloud for a little bit until they fold, because I'm pretty sure that's going to happen soon. I didn't get to compliment you on your playlist selection last time I sat in on your tattoo sessions, and I went home with like 12 new favorite songs. That was pretty good.
I feel like everyone does. I've had people say, you know what, I come back because I like your setup. Yeah. I like your setup and I like your tattoos, but they're like, I also get like 10 new bands to listen to after I leave.
Yeah.
That's a good.
I should start charging.
I went
people
home
for
like
that,
Deja.
Yeah, honestly,
get a radio show.
That's a good. That's a real good one though. That one's
that's
good.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Is there any radio show where like the person is just tattooing the whole time? That'd be weird.
I don't know. It might be loud.
Yeah, it would be a little loud.
Oh, that'd be part of it.
Yeah.
I think.
I've heard Radio Bam episodes where he was getting tattooed by like Cat. What's her name?
Von D.
Cat Von D. Yeah. Stuff like that. But it was annoying. It's annoying listening to.
Yeah,
but maybe if you're like a tattoo fanatic, like that's what you like in your.
It's different
mind.
when you can see the visual of it, but basically if it's just in your ear, like if you have headphones on, and you're just listening to tattoo.
Someone's just weed whacking in the background.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You're like, ooh, sweet.
Nice.
C-Mart, how can people follow you if they want to do so?
I wouldn't.
Excellent. Keeping that moving. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you guys, and we love you very much. We'll see you all next week. Goodbye.